made a life of climbing all over the world, both following in the footsteps of my mentors and drawing topo maps of my own new routes. Do you think planting a garden is useful?
Planting a garden is number one. Yeah, when we changed our mission statement to be simply, we're in business to save our home planet. And so I asked each employee to go around and ask themselves in their job, what does the mission statement mean?
Farm to Crag's a nonprofit that I co-founded to spread awareness about the power of sustainable local agriculture to reverse climate change. Our main focus has been the creation of the Farm to Crag map that we can use while traveling to climb, and on rest days to get directions to sustainable, locally grown food. My life began in rural Alaska, and my family homesteaded sort of at the tail end of the Alaska Range, like 10 miles down the road and through the woods and across the river and up the ridge above a beaver pond, and we built a little cabin. Because we lived in such a rural place and couldn't just go to the grocery store all the time, I have a pretty special relationship to food. After talking to Yvonne, I dove deep into learning about regenerative organic agriculture and how all our food was grown. I feel like I've found the thread to pull together my love of food, my love of my community, and my love of this landscape. I really fell in love with crack climbing in Indian Creek and Castle Valley, these perfect splitters. It's such a treat when you actually get to eat food that's grown in the landscape while you're climbing. There's a lot of talk about how regenerative organic agriculture can help draw carbon out of the atmosphere and store it in healthy soils. And then that is, a more nutrient-rich soil creates more nutrient-rich food. Do you feel like that's reality and that's a good direction?
I would like to see a lot of small farms instead of a few big ones, because then ethical decisions are going to be made. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Is like, it's so cool that people are starting to have this connection to the land again. We moved so far away from it, but if we could all start growing just a little bit of our own food, a huge shift could be made.
Well, we're helping with fertilizer here. My department does a lot of fertilizer.
And it takes me a couple of years to prepare the soil to get it ready to farm. Yeah, no, that's a little bit early.
Too cold.
Yep.
Still hibernating.
Anyway, yeah, so they're working for me.
Love it.
This is the worm factory. That's a sandy loam.
Carrots love sand,
They
right?
love it.
I think it's so important to share the knowledge of people who care about the land so much with the people that are eating the food, because we can't lose people like you. We need,
We will eventually.
people that understand the soil and the landscape they're in.
It isn't knowledge if you don't share it.
I lived on the road to climb for at least 15 years, and it was a really interesting challenge with food to have a tiny little kitchen and limited storage, limited refrigeration.
Yum. Good ratio. Wow.
One of the important things we can do is restore large areas of the planet that used to be pristine. And then if you restore it, then they become carbon sinks again. It takes 100 years to build an inch of topsoil. In modern agriculture, we're losing an inch a crop. But by capturing carbon and holding that carbon, you can build topsoil in just a few years.
This Farm to Crag map is gonna be a tool that we can all use to invest in local sustainable food wherever we climb. Locally sourcing restaurants, bakeries, local breweries. It's gonna be delicious.